Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really foundational chapter from the Quran, Surah Al-An'am. We're going to look at how it builds this dense theological dialogue, really, right from the ground up. Right from the jump, the text opens with this powerful declaration. It sets this incredibly majestic tone. From the very first line, it's establishing a singular power who's responsible for the huge, fundamental contrasts of our world. Heavens and earth, darkness and light. You can think of this as the core statement that every other argument in the chapter is going to build on. So we're going to break this down almost like a 5-act play. First, we'll see the foundation of creation being laid out. Then we get right into the dialogue of doubt that comes up to challenge it. After that, we get to follow Abraham on his journey of finding faith through pure reason. Then we'll look at all the signs presented in the natural world. And finally, we'll see the ultimate choice that the text lays out for everyone. Okay, first up, the creator of heavens and earth. This is where the text starts, laying the absolute groundwork for its entire argument. The core idea here is really crystal clear. There is one creator, and this creator isn't some distant, abstract force. Nope, he's presented as the architect of life itself, forming us from clay, setting the fixed terms of our existence, and knowing literally everything, both what we see and what we don't. And yet what's so interesting is that right after laying out this all-encompassing foundation, the text immediately introduces the main conflict of the whole chapter, human skepticism. The signs of creation are all there, but the human response, it's to doubt, to turn away. And that just sets the stage for a really long debate. And that skepticism, well, it leads us right into our second section, the dialogue of doubt and denial. This is where the text tackles these challenges head-on. So this is the key demand from the doubters. They're basically saying, a human messenger, that's not good enough. They want something more spectacular, a definitive supernatural sign that would just erase all doubt. They're asking for proof that's totally impossible to deny. Now, the internal logic here is just fascinating. The text frames the choice of a human messenger as an act of mercy, something that keeps the door open for faith and for change. But sending an angel? That, it argues, would be like the final buzzer at the end of a game. The test would be over, judgment would be passed, and that whole opportunity to choose to believe, it would just be gone. And the stakes here are presented as incredibly high. This isn't just some philosophical debate. It's got real historical weight. The text actually points to the ruins of past civilizations as this stark warning, a reminder that mocking the message has had some pretty dire consequences before. So instead of just hitting back with abstract arguments, the text does something different. It pivots and gives us this powerful case study in faith, logic, and reason, all through the story of Abraham. And this just brilliantly illustrates the core message in a little mini story. See, Abraham doesn't get some big supernatural sign. Instead, he uses pure observation and rational thinking. He systematically tests the greatest things he can see, a star, the moon, the sun, and he finds them all lacking. Why? Because they're temporary. They set, they fade away. His journey is this incredible process of intellectual discovery, leading him away from created things and toward the one eternal creator. His entire journey, his whole thought process, is summed up in this one profound statement. It really becomes the philosophical core of his argument. True divinity, he concludes, cannot be temporary. It can't be something that's here one minute and gone the next. And this simple rejection of anything that fades, well, that becomes his bedrock for monotheism. So, building on Abraham's method of just looking around and thinking, the text then zooms out. It invites the audience to do the exact same kind of rational inquiry, but by looking at the entire world around them. You see, the text is basically arguing that the signs people keep asking for aren't hidden at all. They're everywhere. It points to the everyday miracles we might take for granted. A seed splitting to become a plant, the perfect celestial clockwork of day and night, the stars we've used for navigation for centuries, the life-giving cycle of rain. These aren't just random events. They're presented as consistent, perfect systems. The argument here is a direct parallel to Abraham's journey. You remember how the setting sun proved it wasn't God? Well, in the same way, the intricate order and the life-sustaining complexity of the natural world are presented as logical evidence for a single, intelligent, masterful designer. The proof, it suggests, is in the system itself. Okay, so after this long dialogue presenting a creator, addressing all the doubt, offering proofs from reason and from nature, the text brings it all home, leading to a clear and final choice for the individual. So after all the back and forth, the choice is framed as a pretty simple one. The text presents what it calls a Sirat Mustaqim, which translates to the straight path, a clear, direct route. And it warns against all the other tangled, confusing paths of doubt that lead you astray. And the consequences of this choice? They're laid out in really stark, contrasting terms. One path leads to security and guidance for those who match their faith with good actions. The other path, for those who reject the signs and do wrong, leads to failure and judgment. It really emphasizes this strong sense of individual accountability for what you believe and what you do. Ultimately, this whole sprawling argument, from creation to Abraham to the stars, it all funnels down to this one singular core principle: pure monotheism, the existence of one God who is the sole creator and the final inescapable judge of everything we do. And so this ancient text, through its intricate dialogue and its logical arguments, leaves us with a really timeless question, doesn't it? It's about the very nature of evidence and faith. It asks us all to consider, does proof fly in the grand, consistent order of the universe that we can see and reason about every day? Or does it have to come in a form that completely defies that very order?